there's the two players that play Poppy the most in the LPL especially. Acorn brought it back after had a stint of not seeing playing competitive play after a couple of nerfs that hit the champion. But Xiang's always been a huge Poppy player whenever Maokai is taken away from him. Speaking of Maokai, it has not been banned out in this game because Saint, they have actually banned out the Poppy as their third and final ban against OMG, whereas LeBlanc, Shen were the two bans that came out first, as well as the Rumble, Talia, and Hecarim from OMG.
Yeah, allow OMG to go back to their old style of just first picking Maokai. That's something that you should want as a team. You should not want to give them that Poppy pick. Because Saint's biggest strength, they know it, their org knows it, everyone else knows it, is an Acorn. If you bring Xiang up against Acorn, and if you give him that matchup that is so forgivable in Poppy, right? Really such a forgiving matchup where if you're Poppy, it doesn't matter how poorly you do in your lane, you can be behind 20 CS, you will still be a monster later on. Take it away! And so now we're seeing the Maokai matchup. I bet Acorn is much more willing to go up against this.
Still, Xiang has played 20 games of Maokai this year. In competitive play, he's a monster on it. There's a reason why it's the most, one of the most banned champions against OMG. But Saint seem like they know exactly what they want to do in Champions Select for game number 3, as Braum gets immediately locked in by Acorn as their support of choice, and we will see Graves being picked up this time around by by Chimin.
Like, I understand that this is just a major comfort point for Xiang. Just pick him the Maokai and he's going to be comfortable with it. His team's going to be comfortable with it. But you should be happy to go up against that. A team that just first picks Maokai, you know you have the answer to that, so be comfortable in it. Don't give them the Poppy pick. And so this is going to be a lot easier for Saint to go up against. I do like this from Saint as they do wrestle the Braum and the Graves.
They do, but on the flip side, OMG, Jojo is going to be picking up Lee Sin heading into the jungle, and Karma is going to be the lock-in of choice as their third pick, and that could be flexed between the mid lane and as a support.
Yeah, so this is them going back to comfort picks. Jojo is a great Lee Sin player. I do remember only really seeing him play it in one set. He played that one set, and he played it really well. So he is a great Lee Sin player. The issue is that now he needs to really step up and impact the early game, but I think that even if he doesn't, that his late game impact will be quite a lot.
Seems like whenever TBQ leaves the team, the jungler that replaces him always has a pocket pick Lee Sin. Seems like a requirement for teams that TBQ has been on previously.
Well, the way I see it is that supports coming into competitive, they have to be that Thresh one pick, that one trick, right? If you're a jungler coming into competitive, you got to have that pocket Lee Sin. I know there are a few Lee Sins out there that, or at least there are a few junglers out there that just don't have that Lee Sin pick, but you gotta at least know how to play it.
On the flip side, Saint, they decided to lock in Echo as their pick of choice. Should be heading up into the top lane for Acorn, as we do get Lissandra being locked in for Otto. A very heavily contested pick between these two teams throughout this series.
Well, Lissandra is that go button. If Saint has it, then they can work really well around it and making it their focal point to create these plays and skirmishes for themselves. If OMG has it, then that's just added protection for SMLZ. If they can get him, if they can get Icon to get that impactful play going for themselves, you better believe that SMLZ will be firing in the background, just getting it rolling for his team. And speaking of firing, speaking about that rat-a-tat-tat, I like that. I like that hover.
Let's see if they do lock that one in eventually. Saint, they've decided to leave their last pick for their AD carry, which is interesting to see coming out from the red side. It will be the Twitch lock-in for OMG, and they pick up the Tahm Kench as well as their final pick, which should be their support of choice, which means Karma's heading into the mid lane.
Yeah, so this is a lot of pressure in the mid lane coming out from OMG. This is a lot of carry potential coming out of Twitch. SMLZ, once again, playing that hyper carry, and with Tahm Kench by his side, you better believe that he's gonna get a lot of safety. And so, okay, so I really don't want to see this pick. I really do not want to see this pick. You know you're going up against that Twitch. You're not going to have, your position's always going to be compromised. And you know you're going up against Tahm Kench, who's always going to nullify your damage, or at least your ulti.
Well, tell you what, Raz, they've locked it in, so XQ will be picking up Jin on Summoner's Rift here. A pick that's been first picked throughout this series, gets picked last by Saint this time round. Acorn does take the Echo into the top lane. We will see Lissandra in the mid lane. So Saint changing up their team count quite a bit here, and so have OMG with the Maokai being left open.
Yeah, and so Saint, they have a great pick well, not so much pick, but they have a great skirmish teamfight composition. They got a lot of great zoning within their kit. Chimin finally back on his Graves, going to be able to output a lot of damage and pressure in the early game. So now onus is going to be on Joy to really start to counteract that pressure with his Lee Sin pick early, just to pretty much get his lanes going for himself, maybe even protect SMLZ early on. So it's going to be interesting to see.
And his Lee Sin is one of his pocket picks, so let's see if he can use this one effectively against Chimin as we head into game number 3 between Saint and OMG. We are on to Summoner's Rift for game number 3 between OMG and Saint in this best-of-5 series. The last 2 games were picked up by OMG quite decisively, especially in game number 2. It's very clinical play coming out from OMG, but Saint, it's do or die now, Raz. They have to fight, because if they drop this game, they will be eliminated and demoted into the LSPL next year.
Yeah, and so we touch on it quite a bit about the fact that there's auto-promotion, but there's technically no auto-relegation. But what it means is that there's a bit of a duel, a little bit of a fight to the death to see who ends up getting relegated of the LPL teams currently. 100% and one LPL team will be coming back in either LGD or newbie. Later on, we'll see in this today. But between these teams, OMG, Saint, not guaranteed anything. Same with so we'll see how it works out.
See lots of Thunderlords coming out from Saint here, as Akon, Chimin, and Otto have all opted to pick up that Keystone Mastery. Deathfire Touch coming out from Jin, you know, breaking the trend there.
Interested to see the Thunderlords coming out of Echo in the top lane. Have not seen that actually to date.
Five's feeling a little bit sick here, so I think Saint currently have the advantage in this game. He picked up a shoe, for some fish bones as well. Not looking good to start things off for OMG.
I'm just trying to figure out, because I'm still thinking about this Echo right now, because he started out with a Doran's Ring, right?
Okay.
He went Doran's Ring, of course went with the potions, but more so he went for the Thunderlords. Is this going to be an AP Echo coming out of it? Is it going to be different than the Trinity Force Echoes that we have been seeing?
Let's see what Akon decides to do for now, though. Chimin looking for a very early gank up to the top side of the map. Has been able to wrap around Siyoung on this Maokai. He's going to be moving out to try and get a ward down. Akon will be dealing some damage as well. There's a flash forward. Siyoung, he's going to get taken out for first blood after a successful gank comes out from Chimin.
Hey, you can first pick that Maokai, but we have a much better 2v1. Hell, a 1v1. And so he's going to be able to shove that lane out. Acorn is going to get a great back timing for him as he's burned Siyoung's TP for that. We're going to see how that works out and how Siyoung is going to be able to cope.
Jojo is trying to take as much advantage as he possibly can with Chimin off of a very early level 2 gank and tries to take down blue buff for himself, and will successfully 3 buff Chimin to start things off. But a huge advantage for Saint up at the top side of the map. Acorn even teleports back to the lane, trying to capitalize on the early game advantage he has on this Echo. Went back to base, picked up boots as well as a Dark Seal up against only the Corrupting Potion that's come out from Siyoung.
Yeah, still not too sure if he's going to be going straight into the AP. But right now, what are you going to do, Chimin? You got your blue buff taken away, especially since you have your top lane really going well for you. He should definitely look into trade in that blue buff.
Let's see what happens. Jojo just takes down the Scuttle Crab to get a little bit of extra vision for his team, and Chimin moves straight in towards Jojo's blue buff. So he's not even going to get 3 buffs to start this game off. Raz successfully trades blue buffs with OMG's jungler.
Yeah, theoretically it should be riskier because you know that you're going to have to look to possibly contest for that blue, right? But if you got that early gank, you know the benefit is Acorn getting really far ahead, and he's going to be constantly shoving in, really making it a hard time for Xiang. So that should be really relatively easy for him to go and steal.
Jojo now looking to see if he can make a gank work towards the mid lane. Hops over to a ward. Otto going to use the claw early to get away from the Sonic Wave that was thrown out by Jojo. Successfully knocks Otto away. He tries to back inside of the mid lane side rush, but he's on top of a ward, so they cancel his recall.
I like the fact that they only moved towards him once he was close to finishing up on his recall. Gave Icon a lot of time to just shove his lane in, so now seems like Otto has to stay in the lane.
He's going to be staying in this lane, trying to farm up this last wave as much as he possibly can. Still, already good things have come out from Saint to start this game off. You know, they got a kill up to the top lane nice and early against Xiang's signature champion. They're looking to be aggressive in the bottom lane as well against 5 and SMLZ.
Yeah, but that's what they want to do. That's been the whole point of Saint. They can get those early leads, right? They can even build it off just from the composition alone. But once you get those leads, what are you going to do with it? We've challenged them time and time again to give us an answer, and they've always shown up just with nothing, completely blank. So now has to be their final test. If they can't do it, this is going to be the game that they once again fail to capitalize on their lead. This is the last time we see of Saint.
It would also be exactly that, the last time we see Saint play in an LPL match, because they'll be moving down into the LPL and then have another split of trying to climb back out and get back into the LPL. Let's see how they fare in this game to start things off. OMG, it's interesting to see that such a historical team from the LPL has the chance of being relegated even if they win this match, because they still have to go up against Young Miracles, the winner of this game. And Young Miracles look so strong against Newbie Young.
Yeah, and it just comes back to the fact that there's so much extremes when it comes to the LPL format, right? Because you're either in the playoffs or you're battling for your life, right?
Yep.
And so no team can really sit down comfortably, especially if you are a newbie or an LGD that, yeah, sure, you just got bumped out of playoff contention, but now you're right back in it. If you lose your sets, then you lose your, I guess, your livelihood.
And so teams trying to fight to stay alive in the LPL, neither would really want to be relegated into that LSPL, especially if you're OMG or an OMG fan. A team that has gone to Worlds before has a chance of being knocked out of the Premier League in China. Up on the top side of the map, though, Xiang's been doing a good job of stopping the bleeding that was caused by Chimin, who is looking to make a return trip on towards this Maokai on the top side of the map. Wolf Spirit does spot out Chimin, so they know he's there. Akon goes for the dive, does not lock him down with the parallel convergence. He's taking a lot of damage. Xiang gets the solo kill, gets the double kill onto Chimin. Otto gets the teleport up into the top lane to get the revenge kill. But what a big play that comes out from OMG's top laner.
All right, I bet he's feeling pretty happy about getting that Maokai. First game that it is not banned against him. They try to finally look to dive him, and he survives, able to get the double kill for himself. What the hell?
What's going on here, Raz? Because Akon goes in, he's got his ultimate up. Parallel conversion doesn't lock him down. What a disaster.
So that was really well played from Xiang. He went backwards when he knew that Echo threw out his stun pretty much fairly forward, right? Right toward, he thought Maokai was going to walk in towards the Echo, not happening, so he misplaced his W, so the stun didn't happen. He tanked the turret initially, so there was no real synergy and just the burst really that was necessary. They were just not able to kill him.
Saint have to be very careful on this bottom lane. 5 has successfully stopped Shu and XQ from heading back to base. Now Chimin's rotating down. They do have a ward to spot out Icon. Gets exhausted, forced to flash away. 5 uses the grey health to keep himself safe. Hovers around the edges in case he has to flash away. Icon being very aggressive, knocking Saint towards the turret. Otto now the one looking for a flank. A big teleport coming out from Akon. 5 eats up his mid lane and flashes over the wall. Dredge gets locked down. Did use the flash earlier, so can't use that to escape.
You can't
Akon. He's in the middle, gets parallel convergence, but SMLZ kites back nicely. Now Icon looking to lock down Akon. Here comes the big old tree. Ultimate being used by Akon to get away, but SMLZ gets the kill with poison. He's gone over the wall, so is Icon. They forced the flash away from XQ. Chimin now's the one who's in trouble. The rat-a-tat-tat comes out from SMLZ. Chimin will get locked down, and OMG turn around the collapse, but not for now. Xiang looking like he wants to get jumped on there. Alto going to be able to pick up that kill with that final auto attack. And here comes the critical as well. They're not stopping this fight, Raz. XQ could get jumped on by JJ, but just decides to threaten his critical position. And all in all, it's a 1-for-2 trade that goes in favor of OMG.
Ooh, that was a long one. That was really insane. And so it really came out the fact, first question, is Acorn going to be able to AP? Hell yes, he is. He got that AP he was going from. One problem is he went in for that 1v4 dive, and the problem with AP Echo is that you can't go in for that 1v4 dive. He ends up getting killed off the back foot with the follow-up on OMG, and once you end up blowing these cooldowns coming out of Saint, their dive, that honestly, you can go in, you can go further, you can dive and go, you can end up sweeping up the fight.
But still, gold is dead even between these two teams, despite the impressive looks coming out from OMG. And Saint had a good start to this game. You know, taking out Seong very early in the match. Seong just comes back. He's like, I'm a tree, I don't care.
Yeah.
Comes back into the game. Now the fumble in the bottom lane means that OMG being able to pick up the gold that Saint were able to acquire for themselves early. Chimin's been doing a really good job of keeping on his toes in this jungle against Dredrez Lee Sin too.
And yeah, I mean, remember game one where I said we haven't seen this situation where Seong just gets this massive lead for himself? It's happened consistently in all of these games, where Seong is the focal point of his team. He's growing. Well, throughout the entire season he was growing. And then finally, the culmination of that is this set where he is just able to, I would say, more so really carry his team through these team fights.
He was pretty much robbed of MVP in game number 1.
Yeah.
This Icon picked up a pentakill. Game number 2, he was the big facilitator that allowed SMLC to pick up his well-deserved MVP performance.
Yeah.
Game number 3, he's stepping up again. He's a big pillar that this team constantly relies on. And there's a reason why teams ban out this Maokai. He is so good on this champion. And OMG use it very well. Dredger even looking for a gank up on the top side of this map. Akon puts down the parallel convergence, looking to lock down the 2 members of OMG. That will expire. Bottom lane, Kurtakol comes out. 5 eats up SMLZ, tries to take him as much as he can. Spits him back out to the final bullet just to take a little bit less damage for himself.
Yeah, he's like, you know, I already tanked 3 bullets for you. I'm not going to take the 4th one. Take it from me. Love the fact that he forced it really there.
It's mid lane. Icon in a little bit Otto, in a little bit of trouble. As Dredger is trying to chase on towards him. The tether coming out from Karma does not lock down the Lissandra. And immediately XQ and Shu will be rotating towards the mid lane, trying to clear out as many wards as they can, try and stay in fog of war wherever possible. Infernal Dragon was the first dragon to spawn in this match, so lots of heavily contested drakes in this game so far.
Yeah, so far it's been meaning a lot. We're seeing a lot of skirmishes as a result. And now Saint is probably going to be looking to play a little bit far back. They don't want to find themselves in that position once again where these skirmishes are really costing them a game.
Jimin's waiting on the bottom side of this map here, trying to see if he can get a gank off towards OMG's bottom lane. Also going aggressively forward on top of Icon, gets a lot of damage down, pops his own ultimate. Cleanse being used by the Karma. Here goes Akon into the back lines, forced to use his ultimate to get back to safety. So dive does not connect coming out from Saint, and they blow 2 major ultimates.
That just feels like Acorn's playing a little bit desperately. He lost the wave looking to do that, because right now, look at it. He's going full AP as Echo. Lissandra is doing really well, but at the same time, a lot of AP damage coming out of this team composition. And Maokai just went out and bought a Spear Visage.
Maokai is one of those champions that does really well against double AP team comps too, so Sion will be very happy with not only getting the Maokai first pick, but also fairly happy he's up against 2 very heavy ability-powered champions.
Yeah, anyone he chooses to lock down will end up dying. There is no outright tank coming out of Saint. So once again, get rich or die trying. If you don't get a lead, if you fall behind with his team composition, Xiong will sit on you.
Well, they're trying to get collapsed on here. OMG looking to try and fight this one out. Xiong uses his ultimate, trying to keep JJ alive, who flashes away. Chimin gets the snipe over the wall with the collateral damage, forces the flash coming out from the tree. Chimin locks him down with the concussive blow. Xiong still trying to kite this one out, but Saint are able to get the double kill up on the top side of the map with 4 members strong, collapsing on the aggressive invade coming out from both Xiong as well as JJ.
Much needed. You knew that SMLZ will not be in that fight. It worked out well for them because they knew they had the number advantage. They cleaned up from there.
That's 5 kills to 4. Saints slightly ahead in gold, but it's only a couple of 100 gold at this moment. 20,000 gold to both of these two teams, so they're not out yet. It's only 13 minutes into this match as well. So early, again, Saint looks strong. Kind of similar to what we saw in game number 1, but it's really 15 to 25 minutes where OMG start to fight back.
I don't think they look strong. This just comes back to the fact of gold versus comp, right? Because the gold that they have,
SMLC doesn't get spot out by that pink ward straight on top of XQ. But who's fighting who? Here comes Tomcats trying to save SMLC. Goes to the front lines. XQ gets exhausted, but he lives. The poison will finally take him down. But it's a teleport coming out from Acorn. 5 is in trouble. He has no flash to get away. Concussive blows will not land. Here comes Otto. Saint collapse again onto OMG. They get 2 kills for himself as Saint picks up that final kill.
All right, you are going far too ham, OMG. You know you have the lead in terms of the pressure and the tempo in this game. Don't let it slip. That was just a really good look from Saint. Of course, they were the ones that got caught out a little bit, but they knew they had the numbers.
This is aggressive. Treacher kicks Chimin straight back into the Infernal Dragon. They start this one off. He's now stuck in the pit because his buddies used his ultimate to get away. Treacher not going to connect that second Sonic Wave. But that means, even though they're outnumbered, OMG are able to secure the Infernal Dragon for themselves.
Yeah, they zoned Graves into their own jungle. Chimin just farming out. You gotta get out of there, buddy. You kind of have to leave.
He is going to be leaving as soon as he possibly can. Tanks up a turret. The tongue lash comes out, so he will get taken down by Icon. He gets a cheeky tether down in between that fight. Not quite sure what Chimin's goals were there, Raz.
I mean, I felt he probably felt like he was doomed. He should have just tried to escape because they were trying to do Dragon. That was a free time for you to leave, but I guess he just saw camps, and you know, you're a jungler, you want those camps.
Well, here comes the curtain call from Jin, just trying to deter OMG from trying to take the mid lane outer turret down for themselves. Clears out the minion wave, and they only get a little bit of chip damage onto the turret. SMLZ, being cheeky again, uses invisibility just to get a little bit of extra attack speed on this bottom lane outer turret. Acorn, he's trying to defend this one, but it will get taken down slowly by the AD carry and support of OMG.
So yeah, already this lead is starting to slip, and it wasn't even a lead in my books. Saint, they had the very minute gold lead, but they had the composition that they need a major advantage, right? They have far too many squishies in their comp that any team fight will not work in their favor. They can't even have Echo to split push up against the Spirit Visage Maokai. It won't work in favor of them. So they put themselves in this awkward position, and now they're finally starting to fall behind in gold. This is not looking good for them.
Certainly it's not. But they're still not out of this game yet. This is do or die for Saint. They have to win this match to stay alive in this series and to stay alive in the LPL in general. They're showing they know how to fight back, but OMG is still a very strong force to be reckoned with. SMLZ once again looking to try and go invisible on towards XQ and Shu. They do have a pink ward in the brush closest to their turret to try and deter these ganks coming up from SMLZ, but they're engaging on towards 5. Otto's going to lock him down as well as the concussive blows. Braum ultimate comes out, locking down SMLZ. Otto goes forward on top of the Rat, locks him down with the ultimate, but the Rat attack comes out, doing lots of damage in return. Saints still getting these cross-map picks. Jetra and SMLZ can't defend this bottom lane out of turret, and it will be the first turret to fall in this match.
These rotations coming out of Otto have been saving this Saint the game. Honestly, every single time he looks to rotate and set up for these plays, it's been working out incredibly.
It's very similar to what we saw in game 1. Otto, not the greatest in lane against Icon, but he rotates around the map really well for Saint. It helps them get these picks that they really want. Shielder has been caught out here by Treacher, slows him down with the Sonic Wave. Going to be looking to try and chase on towards these. Braum, he just jump at the same time, gets kicked into the brush, follows up with a Sonic Wave as well as a Resonating Strike, and we'll be able to get the solo return kill in the bottom lane.
And that might just seem like a small pick, but that will mean a lot. Because at this point, there have been a lot of chip damage put on this mid tower by Karma throughout this entire pick in the bottom lane. So you got to believe if you don't have the Braum, they're just going to send up the whole unit of OMG
He must
siege it up.
Xiang in a little bit of trouble, gets smited by Chimin to get a little bit of extra true damage now. Will get locked down by the deadly flourish. Flash forward, comes out from Graves. He's looking for the kill, dashes forward. One auto attacks enough.
Oh
Twisted Advance will
Okay.
dodge the ultimate, but still gets taken out by the final shot coming out from Chimin.
All right, I was a little hyping it up because, actually, it looks like they're going to continue this.
Here comes Tom Kench. Dretcher 5 and Icon at the flank onto Chimin and XQ. The Graves tries to run away. Dretcher takes him down. Nowhere for XQ to run. Will get locked down. OMG get the revenge kill for their top laner.
All right, that's a good follow-up on it. 5, when he has the Tom Kench, he's 100% going to be able to follow up on that play with his ulti. Very nice from him. But yeah, I thought Maokai was able to dodge out the damage with his W because you are invulnerable for a little bit of that time. Just gets autoed again, so didn't work out for him.
It's a little too late.
Yeah, a little bit.
For Xiang up on the top side of the map. Still works out in OMG's favor as they do get 2 kills for 1 with the semi-global presence of 5 assisting in that trade.
Yeah,
it's a 500 gold lead for Saint, but that's purely due to the first turret they took down earlier.
Exactly. And so it goes back to the fact that Saint, sure, you have a gold lead, but you can't really look to make plays around the map unless if you are guaranteed number advantage.
OMG do have good damage onto all the outer turrets that Saint currently controls, so a few quick, swift pushes from OMG should be able to get them back in gold control. Icon looking to be locked down here. Here's the ultimate coming out from Shu. Concussive blow should come out as well. XQ chases on aggressively forward, but tanks up the turret for his troubles. Has to be very careful because 1 Q coming out from Icon would be able to take him down. Meanwhile, OMG do take down the bottom lane outer turret. Treacher's gone over the top. They're going to try and take down Shu and Chimin. He gets collapsed on. Concussive blows comes out as well as the Kurtzikor. There's going to be a teleport into the mid lane as well. Treacher's out of range, goes back in. Not going to be able to get the kill. Shu flashes away. Icon's in trouble. Hextech Protobell comes out trying to chase it down, but 5 eats him up and is able to carry him to safety.
Yeah, so that works out fairly well for Saint. Though they did lose that bottom lane tower, they did get a pick for their troubles. But they still have to defend these towers, and all of these outer turrets have been getting chipped down.
They certainly have. OMG and Saint are even in gold, they're even in turrets. OMG were able to take the first dragon of the game, which was an Infernal Dragon, so they're slightly ahead in terms of that. 1 kill extra for Saint as well, so it's a dead even game 20 minutes into it. OMG should be feeling very comfortable at this stage.
Yeah, they should. It really comes down to the investment they put into the next fight. If OMG can get the next fight, they can get multiple towers.
Chimin's in trouble. SMLZ collapses. They take down Saint's jungler to start things off, which means the mid lane could definitely be the next place they look to try and siege. Meanwhile, Xiao, he's been able to take down the top lane outer turret. Dragon is back up as well. So a great time to pick off Saint's jungler. And it's going to be another Infernal Dragon as well, Raz.
Yeah, it's just a poor time. Even though that was a great timing for OMG to pick out the Graves, but Graves should not be out there. I know you're trying to look to place down those wards, especially with the Dragon coming up soon, but bring your team in as well.
Once again, 15 to 25 minutes, really where OMG looks to try and come online. 21 minutes in, they've taken the gold lead back for themselves. They're about 1,000 gold up. They've got 2 Infernal Dragons as well. And if they push down this mid lane turret, there'll be 3 turrets up to only the 1 that Saint were able to take down previously. It's already looking good, looking very comfortable in this third match. They really want to win so they can go up against Young Glory, or not Young Glory, Young Miracle, to try and pull themselves back into the LPL.
Yeah, they really are just that close to being able to achieve that. OMG at this point, they took down that blue. That's awesome, right? They have a lot of control here, but more so, it just feels like this mid tower is going to be the brunt of this next play.
Saint try to pull themselves back into the game by evening up the turret disadvantage that OMG created. As Saint looking to be cheeky, Icon gets locked down and obliterated. Saved by 5, but only for a couple of seconds. SMLZ has popped his ultimate, trying to get as much damage down as possible, but he gets flanked on by Otto. 5 tries to save him. Will spin him back out to safety. Dredger takes down XQ. Good kiting coming out from SMLZ, but he's only got Xiang to back him up. Saint are being aggressive as they push on forward. Otto goes in. SMLZ's still alive. He's doing what he can.
Oh
he's
my
going
God.
for it. He's got 1. He's got 2. He gets
SMLZ.
the triple kill onto SMLZ. And he's going for the quadra, but Otto shuts him down with a final kill. Dredger can't follow up. But what a huge play coming out from OMG's AD carry.
He went off. That was incredible. I mean, Saint played it as well as they could, right? They had a massive advantage there. They were able to get that big play and lockdown on a lot of their plays. We can just look through it again. They got a really hard lockdown on Icon. Sure, 5 was so close to saving him. But great lockdown from Otto really did make SMLZ's positioning really safe. But once again, 5 got off his save. The cooldown on his W just really came up really closely, and so they went a little bit too far. Another problem that we've constantly said about Saint, right? They had the advantage in that team fight, but they walk too far. They are far too greedy. They just get demolished by the Twitch. Sure, Otto was able to clean up there, but it's really disheartening to see Saint come out ahead in all of these team fights.
He's looking for it again. XQ, he's poisoned. He's forced to get the face of the mountain from Shield to keep himself alive. This Twitch is a monster right now, Raz. The Curtain Call comes out, trying to clear up the wave. Acorn looking for the flank with parallel convergence. Dredger and 5 will be on top of that one. Icon, he's taken out very low. Acorn forced to use his ultimate to try and keep himself alive. Here comes Sion, but Otto, he's looking for the flank. He's gone into the back lines, locks down SMLZ. 5's not there to save him. A good pick comes out from Saint. Chimmer's going in. Dredger's last carry left alive as Sion tries to take out whatever he can. Otto instead. 5 gets the shutdown. Sion comes up big as the bloodthirsty opponent to pick up that kill. Chimin's going to run away, but is it going to be the sapling? He's chasing, not quite in range to take down Chimin. And OG is still fighting for this one. XQ still alive. We'll get the crit on towards the Maokai if he decides to run any more forward. But once again, it's Saint coming out on top of these team fights.
Yeah, it really feels like Saint is able to... They're a lot more creative, that's for sure, for certain. And Otto has been winning them these team fights, being able to lock down SMLZ. So right now, if you are SMLZ, you need to purchase that QSS. You cannot be in that position because, sure, Otto was in a great flanking position. You can't really plan for that. So when it comes down to it, you just need to be able to build for it.
Still, 5 has been playing out of his mind to compensate for that. The second last team fight, he was almost able to save Icon. Was able to save SMLZ, which is the huge clutch moment where he was able to pull back that team fight for his team. If he's in the right position, that Tahm Kench is really going to disrupt Saint's burst in these team comps.
And that just comes back to Tahm Kench as a champion, right? Sure, he has been coming up big in this newest patch. And it comes back to what the meta means. What is the meta? So if you see a lot of Malzahar, if you see a lot of Ashe, if you just see a lot of Jhin, just outright pick compositions, Lissandra is no different from any of these champions, right? So if you see these lockdown burst champions, guess what? Tahm Kench will make it that much harder for you to do your job. So you have to end up banning it, look to take it away, or just play around it. And it's really difficult to play around it, especially since that quote-unquote playing around it means just looking to burst down a really tanky Tahm Kench.
Well, SMLZ is incredibly strong at the moment. 6-3-2, 50 CS up ahead of XQ. Has his Yoma's Ghostblade and Hurricane, and has finally picked up an Infinity Edge as well. Just got his red buff too, so if Saint decide to fight him, it's going to be difficult to get to the back lines and take down that Twitch. Dragon's going to be coming back up in 45 seconds. SMLZ actually trying to stealth on forward and find a pick. Finds XQ in at Jimin. Gets a lot of damage onto XQ. Will take him down. Shield tries to get him to stand behind Braum, but it's too late. Even forces Jimin to run away. That Twitch is a monster, Raz.
He's playing like a hard carry, and it comes back to looking at his item set right now. He has that IE, he has the Yomu's, and he has the Runan's Hurricane. At this point, he has so much crit that he's looking for these free picks with his ulti because, hey, roll the dice. If you're going to get at least one crit. I can't say 100%. That's not probability for you. Almost messed myself up there, but this comes back to the point that he's rolling the dice and he constantly works out really well for him.
He's 7-3-2. He's now split pushing in the bottom lane as the rest of his team looks to take down the Dragon for themselves. Otto threatening to initiate there. 5 saves him. Now Otto has to be careful. Acorn looking to try and initiate with his parallel convergence, but not able to lock down the Twitch. As Cloud Dragon has been started by Dredre. OMG already have 2 Infernal Dragons picked up previously. They want to just try and continue doing just that. Shield threatening to be in good position to stop this from getting taken down. The rest of the Saints team now collapsing. 5 separated from the rest of the team. Chimin will smite away that Cloud Drake. Shield has been tagged by the Sonic Wave. Resident Strike comes up from Dredre. He's in the back lines. Going to look to try and take down Acorn, who's on top of this Lee Sin. Gets a lot of damage down, but where's SMLZ? He's in the back lines. He's on top of Grom. He's clearing out a wave. Not quite sure what this Switch wants to do, but he gets the first kill on the Chimin. Otto tries to lock him down, but he's saved by 5. Nice and early. There goes Acorn. Icon gets the next kill. The Sandra will get taken down for SMLZ's double. And it was a chaotic team fight, but OMG still come out on top.
I mean, it just came down to one thing. Dive SMLZ. They could not do it. It was incredibly impossible. The one point that they actually had a very small window in doing so, 5 was right beside him. And so if you look to dive him, guess what? Tom Kench will do a great job at nullifying that.
Now they're looking to try and take down the bottom lane inhibitor. Inhibitor turret has already fallen. That inhibitor taking a lot of damage. 10 seconds until Chimin's back up. So this will be taken up by OMG nice and easily. They trade the kills as well as the turrets just for a Cloud Dragon. So OMG are now firmly in a good place in this game, 5,000 gold up.
Yeah, I mean, Saint, their mindset when it came to that dragon, they had to be looking for that fight. It looks like they're looking for it now.
Yeah, they've got a teleport flank coming out from both Acorn and Otto. Looking to try and catch out onto SMLZ. They're chasing on forward. Shield looking to try and collapse. There's no flash available for the Twitch. He's going to go invisible and try and get back to safety. Successfully does so. Here comes Siyoung. Tries to teleport in. Cancels it at the last second to keep himself alive. And it will save Private Twitch there. And they successfully accomplished the mission.
Yeah, I mean, SMLZ honestly didn't even need that TP, but they were just playing it safe. Double TP coming out of Saint. That means so much, especially since they don't have their bottom lane inhib. OMG can just walk towards this Baron, and it would be so free for them.
It seems like what they're trying to set up to do just now. SMLZ's been sitting on these 3 major items for a long time. He would really want to go back to base, but he doesn't really have to because he is so much stronger than XQ at the moment.
Yeah, he is incredibly strong. Right now, OMG, they don't have to do anything, but they keep going in.
Jimin gets hit by JHS combo though. It forces him out of the base. There goes Acorn trying to run away from the Twitch. SMLZ almost gets another pick for himself. Forces the curtain call out of XQ as well.
Yeah, almost killed Acorn. And it just comes back to the fact that SMLZ, he knew his strengths, right? Especially since he knew he was going up an incredibly squishy team composition coming out of Saint. He can just assassinate anyone he wants to. There is no tank line coming out of Saint to just demolish him.
He's showing he wants to do just that, Raz. He's got a Phantom Dancer, so 80% crit for Twitch at the moment.
Yep.
As they're now going to look to try and collapse on towards Otto. A good twisted advance will come out from Siyoung. Sonic Wave will not connect from Jetra, so Otto lives to fight another day, but at very low health. The rest of the team, except for SMLZ, have congregated around the Baron Pit, trying to pick off Saint as soon as they move towards this objective and buy some time for SMLZ to pick up his red buff, which is spawning shortly. But the rest of his team, top side of the map at the moment.
I mean, honestly, OMG doesn't have to do anything, right? They have to do absolutely nothing, and they would win the game. That's the easiest job of any player I've ever heard of, where the bottom lane inhib is down, so they have to really answer that without any teleport, right? So Saint's in a position where they've really tied themselves up with that double TP play.
They set another Baron. OMG looking to take this one down without SMLZ, who shows himself in the mid lane. Now going to be moving on towards this Baron Pit. Already taking a third of its health in damage. Jetra and Siyoung clearing out wards as soon as they get placed down in the back of the pit. SMLZ waiting in the wing to see if we get an assassination down on towards Saint. Let's see if he can get in there. The pink ward does spot him out. He's moved into the back lines on top of Acorn and Otto. Otto has to use the ultimate on himself, but look at SMLZ do so much damage in the back lines here. They just can't get on top of him. Chimin's gone forward. Doesn't matter because Twitch is just going off here. Double kill for Siyoung. He's on top of XQ, the only member left alive for Saint.
Clean.
Here comes the time catch. There goes Siyoung, flashes forward, and it will be fine. That gets the ace for OMG. They're trying to keep their LPL dreams alive here, Raz.
Trying. They just accomplished it. Clean ace coming out of OMG. Now they're walking straight towards this mid tower, but why are you even doing that? Look at the Nexus turrets.
But it being safe here, Raz, the Nexus is being attacked by a couple of minions, but decide to back off. They're not going to go end the game just yet, even though there's 20 seconds on everybody from the side of Saint.
I guess they're just trying to play. I mean, there is no such thing as playing it safe. Just end the game, right? They're just trying to have fun, it seems like. This is like a victory run, but just get the job done is what you should be doing.
They're going straight back for Baron. They haven't started this one out. Instead, they're just going to clear out wards first. Questionable that OMG decided not to end the game there, so Saints still have the chance to try and fight back. They are 8,000 gold behind though. The Baron will make it about 10k behind even.
I mean, they can try, but it really does feel like a unfathomable. This disadvantage is far too massive, right?
Well, SMLZ is so big, he's decided to sell his Serrated Dirk, picks up a Wit's End as his final item, opting not to go for the more Malmortius instead.
It just comes back to any way Saint trying to attack this team fight. They can't, because of this build on Acorn, they can't split. It's just not going to happen. Maokai is far too big, and on top of that, OMG has too much of an advantage in map play that they can just walk towards the Nexus, right? They can't team fight into Saint. They can't do it either because every single time they try and attack it in a different way, 5 is right beside SMLZ. There's no way to knock him down.
They're pushing on towards the bottom lane inhibitor. SMLZ is going to go invisible and try and collapse on towards Otto. Gets a lot of damage down the right. Tat's going to come out from SMLZ. Gets good damage on towards Saint. Forces them back towards the Nexus. Doesn't get any picks to start this one up, but they do take down the inhibitor. And now they're looking towards the Nexus, Raz.
Yeah, this is the final stand. This is the final stand for Saint.
Let's see if they can do it. Curta Core comes out. SMLZ is being kept alive. He's kiting backwards. Otto locks him down. He takes the crit from the ultimate of Jin, but still up and ready to kick off the fight. Double kill for SMLZ. Gets the triple kill as he chases on towards XQ as he finally gets into the Founder, so doesn't get that triple, but still, OMG find that final team fight. They're on to the Nexus. This will be OMG picking up the Game 3 against Saint.
Yeah, welcome back, OMG, to the LPL. This means a lot for these players. They fought hard in the end of the regular season to show their strength, to show that they meant something as players. As for Saint, it's definitely a depressing moment for them.
It certainly is. Unfortunately, Saint, throughout the entire split of the LPL, were only able to pick up one victory, and it was against OMG during the cross-conference. And that means with their loss here today, they have been relegated into the LSPL heading into the 2017 splits. OMG though, their place in the LPL has not been guaranteed yet. They still have to play against Young Miracles in 2 days' time, and if they can pick up a victory there, then only they would return into the LPL.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible, especially for OMG. You're going up against a great team in Young Miracles, right? I know a lot of people would like to disrespect the secondary league, especially if you're in the primary league, right? You're saying, well, we're much better players where we are where we are because of how we've practiced and played, but you can't take it sitting down. Go all out in this last set.
Well, big congratulations to OMG for picking up the 3-0 victory. Like we said, though, their run back into the LPL has only just begun. But we take a look at Saint throughout this entire split. We said the same things about the team. They have the talent. They've got players like Acorn on the top lane. They have STYZ sitting on the bench. XQ and Shield stepping up. Snoopy, Otto, Chim, and even Captain in their jungle doing really well. But that's literally all we've had good to say about Saint, is they have these star players. What's gone wrong for them this year? Because it's always fallen apart every single time they get towards a late game.
Well, it's all about teamwork, especially in League in this meta, right? If you can't play as a team, then you're just not playing at all. You can if you're known for your laning phase, right? That's fine. That's great. A lot of teams can just nullify your laning phase in lane swaps. And even in standard lanes, it won't really matter as much because they'll just cut losses and say, well, we'll just, especially OMG in this game, where they just said, okay, we have a losing lane in the mid lane. But Xiang just roams straight to the mid lane, helps out that 1v1, and gets his team the lead. You play as a team to get that early lead. And that's the lesson that Saint learned a bit too late.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to see Saint improve on the mistakes they made during the split of the LPL while they're in the LSPL. And it'd be good to see them try and fight back and try and come back into the summer split next year, because they'll still have to go through the spring split to get back into the game. OMG, like we said, they've won a battle, but the war's not over yet. They still have to go through Young Miracles. What is that match going to look like? Because that is do or die for both those teams.
Yeah, Young Miracles, we call them, I mean, it's in their name, right? Young Gunners, their bottom lane in Ming and Ning, both of them are exceptional players, right? And then just overall, that team, they play well. I mean, that's just, it's hard to say. Like, I can say it again and again, but that's what it comes down to.
Well, we can check in with the MVP for that match. It's going to go over towards SMLZ on his Twitch. 12, 3, and 8, 43% of his team's damage. He was a monster.
Yeah, like the moment you saw his build come out, that's just what it comes down to, is his confidence as a player, right? Every time you saw confidence in OMG, you just saw them sit back, play it a little safe, and then just kind of do a victory lap. And this, in the last game, their form of safety was just knowing that SMLZ could go wild, and he had a lot of protection to do.
And this is where Saint really looked like they were going to come back into the game, because they won this fight until 5 and SMLZ put on a clinic. And it was a big pickup for this Twitch to get 3 kills in this fight.
Yeah, and so like, why are you even going for that far deep? Like, Saint can get these leads. That's not the question anymore. The question has never been that, right? We can say, you know what, Saint? We know you can get these massive leads early, right? You can get that early game lead. That's like, fine. What are you going to do with it? And then they take these fights that are, it's advantageous. Like, it's a really good fight for them to take. But then they find a way to throw it away.
Unfortunately, that just seems like Saint's entire story in the LPL because game after game, we praise their early game. And the games they do win after the back of those early game victories, especially in that 2-0 that they had against OMG during the cross-conference, the only game they won once again. But they just go back to the same old bad habits no matter who they field in their roster. If it's going to be Chimin or Captain in the jungle, if it's Otto and Snoopy in the mid lane, it just seems like there's the same problems time and time again.
Yeah. And I know this is a young organization coming out of them, right? They were just really formed up recently. And so it's hard, especially if you have young players, right? I know Acorn's coming in to be that one growing catalyst, but it's just not enough, it seems.
Well, Saint have really been bouncing in and out of the LPL and LSPL. You know, first place LSPL last time around, now back into the last place of the LPL. It's just been a repeat performance for them. OMG, though, is a huge surprise to be in the promotion relegation tournament as one of the last seeds from the LPL because this is a historical organization, have always been in the LPL, have gone to Worlds as well. They have some quality players in the team like Sion. They have Cool on the bench as well. This is a team that if they get relegated, it'd be a huge surprise and a huge shock to a lot of people.
Exactly, and I think it comes down to the org. Not only are they extremely prestigious, but they're also fairly wealthy in that sense too. So once they have to be taking this with a lot of, they must be taking it to heart. And so coming out of this, coming into the preseason, what are the changes they're going to see? That's the real question for me.
So what can we expect coming out from OMG taking on Young Miracles? Because that's their next match, and it'll be played in a couple of days' time. Yeah. Winner of that match heads into the LPL. Loser will be heading into the LSPL. What can we expect from this match? Because OMG, we already know, good early laners. They play the mid game really well. They have great late game, and their pick band is pretty solid at the moment. How is this going to pan out against Young Miracles?
Exactly. I think that it comes down to the early skirmishes because Young Miracles are a team. Sure, they have great laning phases as well. We talk about this. And that's not going to mean anything anymore. Or at least it depends on what you take from it because of how the 6.15 is coming about. So question is now, I don't think, if anything about the playoffs taught you anything, is that Young Miracles Baron plays, not the best. Not the best. So I think if OMG can take the lead early, if they can take the game and just look to play around these objectives, well, I think they can take it.
And it's still going to be a really, really big fight for OMG. We're going to take a look at their highlights very quickly from that last series, but still, Young Miracles are no pushover. They went to 5 games against newbie Young, and we have seen what auto-promoted teams in the LSPL can do. In fact, we have IMA, who are going deep into the playoffs, and they were the auto-promoted team from last split of the LPL. If newbie Young looking to do the same thing that I may have been able to pull off this season, Young Miracles will definitely be a tough task for OMG.
Depends how you frame that because IMA and Snake are both teams that improved incredibly in between promoting and actually getting into the LPL. They've seen a lot of growth and improvement. I think right now we're going to have to see that coming out of newbie Young, right? We're going to have to see a lot of growth. And that's the same truth for Young Miracles. They may be a great team in terms of mechanics and playing these fights, but there's a lot of growth that they still need. And I think going up against OMG, especially in this form, will be a very difficult task for them.
So we've seen our first LPL team demoted into the LSPL. None of the teams are really safe. We have one more match coming up later on tonight, which will be newbie taking on LGD. The loser of that match will have to play another game against Starhorn Royal Cup to fight for their lives in the LPL, but the winner this time around will be promoted back into the LPL. But still, Saints' run in the LPL has finally come to a close. OMG is still looking to battle out and get back into the league in 2017.
So yeah, it's not the end of the world for the team. Saints still has the LSPL. I mean, it's a really difficult run in the LSPL. A lot of teams vying for one position, and the LPL and the playoffs format is not very forgiving, especially if your team coming in later on in the bracket. So it's going to be an interesting fight for Saint. What they decide to do with their position, I'm not too sure with, of course, but we'll see how it works out for them and the players.
We'll have to keep track of them and OMG as well, because OMG, they're going to be looking to try and fight for their match against Young Miracles in 2 days' time to try and get back into the LPL. We still have one more game to come. It's going to be LGD taking on Newbie in just a bit.